this is Nazar Akil from Max Pro.
Hi, I'm Linda.
And I'm Paul.
And we're Love and Pebbles.
Hi, this is Lopa Vandermersch from Rasa.
Oh, you're listening.
And you're listening.
And you are listening to the E-Comm Show.
Welcome to the E-Comm Show, presented by BlueTuskr, the #1 place to hear the inside scoop from other e-commerce experts, where they share their secrets on how they scaled their business and are now living the dream. Now, here is your host, Andrew Math.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. I'm your host, Andrew Math, and today I am joined by the amazing Nina Klein, who is the VP of Product Management over at Fernish. Nina, how are you doing? You ready for a good show?
I'm so excited to be here, yes.
So you told me this is your first podcast. I'm so excited for this, which is crazy because it's interesting because Fernish is not a small brand. And being the VP of Product Management, I would think that you would be front and center all the time. So I'm going to make sure that this is the beginning of many, many podcasts for you to do over the course of your career.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. So I'm sure you're going to be fine. Let's start it off with, I'd love to hear a little bit more about yourself, your background, and then obviously more about Fernish, and we'll kind of take it from there.
Cool. Sounds good. So my name's Nina Klein. I've been at Fernish for about 3 years. I currently head up the product management, so kind of everything website, internal tools related. I kind of fell into the role of product or fell into product management about 10 years ago in startups. So I've worked with a lot of them, e-commerce marketplaces across industries, fashion, home, those kinds of things. And before that, I was actually a business consultant for like a super large company. So I've had stretched the gamut, I guess, of experiences. Also love just startups in general. I worked with a nonprofit accelerator in Los Angeles for a while as well, and love kind of like just the mentorship of new baby startups. It's been great.
Beautiful. What is Fernish? I know it's a product and a service. There's what's the background of the company? What's the focus on right now?
Yeah, so Fernish is a rental services, furniture, and decor company. So we rent to own, allow people to purchase furniture outright. It's a subscription model. We service 7 different large metropolitan areas. So we kind of have everything in-house, warehouses, technology, everything kind of in-house. And it's been a very fun journey with them as well.
Is it all your own branded furniture, or is it other people's brands as well?
Yeah, it's a combination, actually. So when we started, the company is about 5 years old. And so I started about 3 years ago. And at that point, we had large brands, recognizable brands, Crate and Barrel, CB2. We still carry a lot of that. That's sort of white labeled. And then we also have our own that we are in the process of making and tweaking so that our customers can rent high quality, durable, but also fashionable furniture. I think, there's players out there, when you think of rental furniture, you think of boxy, gray, hard seats, those kinds of things. And so we kind of really wanted to bring a higher level of quality and curation to, the direct to consumer, primarily direct to consumer population.
Nice. Is this mainly meant for a rent to own, or is it a rent permanent where it's hey, I'm in an apartment for a year and that's it? Or I know real estate agents that do prepping up homes and all that fun stuff when they're going to show them. So what's the target market?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question, and I think the beauty of it is I'm so excited to be here. Yes, it is. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sounds good. So my name's Nina Klein. I've been at Fernish for about 3 years. I currently head up the product management, so kind of everything website, internal tools related. I kind of fell into the role of product or fell into product management about 10 years ago in startups. So I've worked with a lot of them, e-commerce marketplaces across industries, fashion, home, those kinds of things. And before that, I was actually a business consultant for like a super large company. So I've had the stretched the gamut, I guess, of
Nice.
experiences. Also love just startups in general. I worked with a nonprofit accelerator in Los
So,
Angeles for a while as well, and love kind of like
yeah,
just the
that's a good
mentorship
point.
of new
So
baby
their
startups.
furnish is
It's
only
been great.
available in certain regions right now?
Yeah. Yeah, so Fernish is a rental
Okay.
services, furniture,
Close.
and decor company.
So is that
So
because they
we
have
rent
warehouse
to own,
locations,
allow
or
people to
what's the
purchase
reason
furniture
for the
outright.
region
It's a
specific
subscription.
offering?
I'm so excited to be here. Yes, it is.
Nice. That's definitely the best way to do it, is to own the whole thing. I know that's not the easiest way to manage people, but hey, if it works, it works. You get to control the product, right? So you mentioned customer experience. And I know everyone likes to
I'm
think that
so
these
excited to be
podcast
here.
episodes
Yes,
just happen and like, yay, that's it, it's magic. But no, we
it
ask
is.
you to help us out and give us a little bit of information on anything specific you want to talk about. And one of the things you mentioned, I was like, oh, yes, let's do this. So you've started to get into a little bit on the AI side, but you're also offering a AR aspect,
Thank
which
you.
I
I
think
appreciate
is a
that.
game changer. I think the AR side of things for a lot of brands, specifically in like home decor kind of stuff, is flawless because you never really know what it looks like in your house until you're able to picture it. So what is that? What was that
Cool.
setup
Sounds
like? What
good.
was that
So my
process like?
name's
Who are
Nina
you
Klein.
using? How is it
I've been at
going?
Furnish for
Bill.
about 3 years. I currently head up the product management, so kind of everything website, internal tools related. I kind of fell into the role of product or fell into product management about 10 years ago in startups. So I've worked with a lot of them, e-commerce marketplaces across industries, fashion, home, those kinds of things. And before that, I was actually a business consultant for like a super large company. So I've had the stretched the gamut, I guess,
Yeah.
of experiences. Also love just startups in general. I worked with a nonprofit accelerator in
Hmm.
Los Angeles for a while as well, and love kind of like just the mentorship of new baby startups. It's been great. Yeah. Yeah, so Fernish
Yeah.
is a rental services, furniture, and decor
Yeah.
company. So we rent to own, allow people to purchase furniture outright. It's a subscription model. We service 7 different large metropolitan areas, so we kind of have everything in house, warehouses, technology, everything kind of in house. And it's been a very fun journey with them as well. Yeah, it's a combination actually. So when we started, the company is about 5 years old, and so I started about 3 years ago, and at that point we had large brands, recognizable brands, Crate and Barrel, CB2. We still carry a lot of that. That's sort of white labeled, and then we also have our own that we are in the process of making and tweaking, so that our customers can rent. High quality, durable, but also fashionable furniture. I think
Yeah.
there's players out there. When you think of rental furniture, you think of boxy, gray, hard seats, those kinds of things. And so we kind of really wanted to bring a higher level of like quality and curation to the direct to consumer, primarily direct to consumer population. Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. And I think the beauty of it is
Wow.
what we really sell from a service is like that flexibility and convenience. So we have a lot of customers that, sign up for a 12-month rental. They moved into a new apartment. There's so many great use cases for this type of service. When you move in with roommates and, inevitably you buy stuff together, and then you part ways at some point, or you move to a different apartment, and that like awesome sectional that you have is just not going to fit in any way, shape, or form. And so it really gives people a lot of flexibility, I think, to not have to invest up front in pieces that are not going to be supportive of like, a pretty nomadic lifestyle, if you think about it. We also have customers who they just bought their first home, which is very expensive, to do that. And maybe they're, in the bucket of, we're waiting for furniture to come, or, this was my situation. Actually, we moved from Los Angeles to Houston, and our stuff was in storage for months. And Fernish isn't in Houston yet, so it's not one of the markets. So I didn't have that opportunity, but you're basically not sitting on anything for a while as your stuff, creeps its way across the country, on the mover's schedule. So we see a lot of that, short-term rentals, interns, going to my first internship in LA. I definitely slept on a deflated air mattress for the entirety of the summer. Could have been really nice to just like rent an actual bed and a nightstand or something like that. But you're not going to buy furniture for those shorter temporary times. Yes. So we're in the West Coast, Seattle, Los Angeles, San Diego, East Coast, New York, and DC. And then we are in Texas. We're in Austin and Dallas, but I'm in Houston. So I don't get as much of the benefits. Yeah. Yeah, so we're very big into kind of like customer service and controlling like everything about the customer experience, from what you do on the website, what you see on the website, your shopping experience, to the actual like delivery and assembly, which comes when you do rent from us. So all of our warehouses, we open them in new cities. We employ everyone from the person that is the driver to the warehouse manager. So it's all a very in-house experience. So we have that control and kind of keep it up like the caliber that we want. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That comment of the 800% increase is hilarious. Because as an agency, I'll be honest, I've got case studies on my site where like I can't showcase people's numbers, but like you can't also be like, oh, it's a
Yes. Yeah.
760% increase. It's like, yeah, but what was it really? Like, so I understand that one a lot. Yeah. As you should be.
Totally.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay. So
ridiculous.
absolutely, I get
Um,
excited to talk about this stuff too.
so
So we
when you
use
implement the different
the
products,
vendor
I
we
know you
currently
obviously
use is
strategically
Epigraph
picking the ones that you
for
want to
our
go with.
augmented
A
reality,
lot of
and
the
there are a lot
platforms
of
out there
vendors
that
out
I'm
there
familiar with that
that do
offer like
kind
these
of do
different
this. They
AR
were one of the earlier
functionalities and stuff
ones,
through the
and so we
site,
partnered with them
you really
pretty
just kind of
early
upload
on.
a CAD file
And
and that's it,
it
and that's all
is
you can do. In your
my
case, for
in-laws, for
furniture, I'd
example, they're in
imagine
their
that that
70s.
is
The
probably
concept
not
of buying
available. So
furniture from a website that they didn't
are
get
you like
to
sending them
like touch,
product and they're
sit
actually
on, look
filming
at,
it and doing the
it's
whole
so
whatever magic that
shocking
they
to
want
them
to make it
that
work?
anyone would really do that. But a lot of people are able to, or will take the chance. We have big companies out there, the Wayfairs of the world, like things that are online,
I think
furniture
so, yeah.
sort of sales. But it is a little bit scary. These are high price point items. A lot of times, like just even the thought of like having to return a sectional is enough to like make people not want to just click the button to buy it. And so that was a big thing for us, and especially around the size, because it is hard for customers to, even if you get a tape measure, and I have blue tape here because I'm always putting stuff down on the ground, but like it's hard to really get a concept of what something's gonna look like, or size in your space. So we partnered with Epigraph, and they provide us with, the AR. We also do 3D models that you can kind of play with and rotate on our product detail pages. So you can really kind of get a sense, you see the product, you can actually see it in your space. I have a 5-year-old. I think when I showed her the AR for the first time through my phone, it was like, she kept looking behind my phone because she's like, it's not there, but you see it in the picture and it looks so real and it fits in the space. And it was really cool kind of to see how a child reacted to that. But I think it's really helped us, especially with customers that are higher intent customers. Like they're like, okay, is a sectional going to fit, or is a sofa only a sofa going to fit? Let me check it out. And you can do it
aspect
straight from your phone, like in your space while you're sitting right there, and kind of see the
in that
piece
kind of
come to life, which is pretty cool.
It's like you can just throw
we also work with
on
another
and
vendor
be able
called
to
Renovai,
visualize
and
all of your
they provide us with
in one spot.
more on the styling side. So they use a lot of AI to kind of take our entire inventory or catalog and be able to put completed rooms and spaces together, which I think is another barrier to entry a lot of times, different than like a t-shirt or, some, in the fashion world, like, okay, I like this great t-shirt. I don't have to know that it matches with everything in my wardrobe. Yeah. But if I'm going to buy, or rent a piece of furniture, you kind of want to make sure like it's going to go together. These are higher price point pieces. They're larger. They're more pain in the ass to get rid of if it doesn't work. You can't just throw it to UPS. And so Renovai we partnered with also, I think a couple years ago, and they have a cool style quiz that we implemented. And then on our product detail pages, you'll notice if you go to the website, an entire scene will load and you can kind of see the product in context with other products.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for sure. So we, with Renovai, we've done most of our catalog. So we've sent them most of our products that they're incorporating into scenes. They also are, I don't know if they would consider themselves a startup, but they also have been rolling out new features. So when we first started working with them, they only did bedrooms and living rooms. Like their AI was only trained on that. They've started to roll into dining spaces and that kind of stuff. So we've sort of worked with them, in-step function to kind of expand what we offer there. With Epigraph, we choose the items that we're going to do 3D in, because you do pay for those models and pay for that service. And so you want to be strategic about it. And so for us, the question early on was sort of, well, is it, the answer was yes, the big items are the ones that are going to be, first of all, most visited by our customers, those bigger, sectionals and sofas, those bigger categories. So we want more people to be able to have access to these features and then kind of see how it's done, versus kind of tackling like the lamps or the, smaller things, which you still pay for. And more people are converting with those larger pieces. They're not coming to Fernish to rent a pillow. They're coming to rent kind of like those big pieces. So as far as, metrics, like we're big into metrics on the Fernish side. So, we are constantly looking at sort of funnels and performance metrics, engagement metrics, all that kind of stuff. And the data is really compelling. I mean, it's funny, I always sort of laugh at like 800% increase in conversion rate. Cause then I just look at them like, okay, how big's your denominator? But I think, we've continued to partner with them for the last couple of years, because we just like the data is showing us that that's a good investment. Right. Right. I'm always skeptical of that kind of stuff. And I'll push our vendors a lot of time, be like, okay, can you like give me something lower so that I'm like a little bit more believable? Because if I see something too high, I'm just like, okay. Yeah, it's a pretty collaborative process. So we don't normally get CAD files for a lot of our, unless we've manufactured it ourselves, right? So those are much harder to come by. We do work with them to, sometimes we'll send, all the images we've ever shot of the product. We'll send fabric samples a lot of times if we have them, which we do, so that they can actually like get the texture right. Then we go through this whole like iteration process with our, marketing team, who typically have seen all the products because they shoot all the products also, and they go back and forth and kind of like they look at the model and they like pinpoint little areas where it's like, oh, this should be more curved in this way, and so it is a lot of back and forth that we do, because we do want to make the make it as realistic as possible. The technology has come also a long way.
Thank you so much.
And different materials
really
I think are still being worked on. Anything that's kind of velvety where you move your hand and it's sort of shiny on one side, like that's still a little bit tricky for these companies to really replicate. But it's definitely coming because it's come so far.
Easy enough.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, we already sort of see glimmers of that. I mean, with this announcement that came out, we've talked with vendors in the past where they want to do like the whole apartment is modeled, and your furniture comes into it. So you walk around literally to do an apartment walkthrough with an iPad and sort of see everything, which isn't, it's a step away from like the glasses, but it's all accelerating very quickly. I think adoption rate will be really interesting to watch, because I think there's a lot of cool technology that still takes time. I mean, we've known about AR. AR has been around. These 3D models have been around.
Thank you for tuning in to the E-Comm Show. Head over to ecommshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The E-Comm Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of the E-Comm Show.